But
you're
it's
not
also,
like
he's
you're
just
not,
overcompensating.
You're not. He's super overcompensating, but like you're not. Even if he was straight, like you're not in love with this girl. Like you don't need to date your teammate's ex-girlfriend, especially like during the season when you're going to be spending all your time with him.
True.
Like that's just, if you give a shit about, like he actually gives a shit about football. Like if you give a shit about like being a sports star or whatever, like don't fuck over your team, dude.
Yeah, and we all know you're just using her as a beard anyway. Pick a beard who isn't, like, emotionally tied to one of your friends.
Pick literally any other beard.
Seriously.
There are single girls at Degrassi.
Honestly. Or, like, pick Shantae. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Shantae's a gossip, so if anything
That's
came up,
true.
she
That
would
would
tell
be
everyone.
dangerous.
It's why he also wouldn't be able to date, like,
Who
Holly
would be
J.
a good beard for Riley?
I'm thinking about it because he couldn't do Shantae because she's a gossip, and he couldn't do Holly J because she's also a gossip and also is vindictive and perceptive as hell.
Yeah.
Like, Holly J would notice. I feel like Anya is kind of a safe bet.
Yeah.
But
except for the Sav part.
Except for the Sav part. Like, Leia would also have been good.
Yeah.
But she has, like, this Danny thing happening. Who else goes to Degrassi?
I'm like, what other girls go to Degrassi?
Jane is taken. I almost called her Nina. Mia's taken.
Yeah. There's like nobody left. Maybe one of the freshmen. Claire's got her own love triangle.
Allie is
with Johnny DeMarco.
Confusing. But I also like it. What's happening to me? I don't know. Is there anyone else that goes to this school? Pick literally any other cheerleader. Just like pick a different cheerleader.
Pick a nameless cheerleader.
Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't need to date Anya.
No.
Like, I get she's a part of the core group, but you don't have to do it. Like, pick someone else, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
Plenty of people go to this school.
We just don't see them. Anywho, yeah, Sav is all like, ugh. But then we're with Anya and Riley on their date at the Dot, and Anya's like, what kind of carb would you be? I'd be a Pop-Tart. And
she specifically says bread.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. She's like, what kind of bread would you be?
And he's like, I don't think that counts as bread.
And I, like, wrote it down just because I was like, wait, what? I feel like that's the kind of thing that you ask on, like, a speed date that's going poorly.
Or, like, a job interview because you think it, like, could mean something else, like a metaphor.
Yeah. But anyway, she says Pop-Tart. And I guess he says panini at some point, but we miss it entirely.
Yeah.
But either way, it's an extremely dumb conversation. And I feel like if you have to ask those kind of questions on a date, your date is not going well.
No, it's not.
Like, it's not.
It's like forcing conversation.
Yeah, it's not flirty.
It's like icebreakers.
Yeah, it's rough. It's not good.
Not great. But then, like, Peter and Mia walk by, and Anya's like, guys, come sit with us. Oh, wait, but before that, he says something to Anya, and Holly J comes over and says, can I get you a block of cheese with that meathead?
Oh, yeah.
What does he say? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but I feel like he's just there talking. I don't think he's saying... I think he, like, pays her some sort of compliment.
He gives her some compliment, but I don't remember what it was. And then they see Peter and Mia, and Anya's like, come sit with us. And I was like, that's weird to, like, and turn your first date into a double date. Unless it's more of a high school thing. I have no idea.
I think it's very high school.
Yeah.
I mean, the date is not going well despite, like, what they're trying to convey. But also, like, I feel like that's very high school.
Yeah.
Because you're, like, so awkward.
Yeah, and you're like, please save me. And then Anya and Mia go to the bathroom. And then Peter is like, so what you doing, bro?
Yeah, I think his exact line is, so are steroids making you buff and straight?
Yeah.
Peter is on his A game this entire episode.
And he's like, what are you doing? Like, a week ago, you tried to kiss me. And Riley's like, it was a weird mistake. I'm better now, or something.
He's like, why do you keep bringing that up,
yeah.
man? Come on, Riley.
Yeah. But then we're with Leia and Derek on their pool date.
And Derek tries to do that thing where he's like, let me teach you how to do this. And she's like, I know how to do this. Stop it. That only works in movies.
Yeah. And she's just being very cold, which, like, I get it.
Girl, same.
And Derek is wearing his fucking vest. And then he's like he mentions the song. He's like, oh yeah, do you like this song? She's like, no, I hate it. It's so overplayed. He's like, oh yeah, totally. And then I think another song comes on and he's like, dance for me. And I hated that.
Oh, I hated it so much.
But then somehow they start talking about Danny.
And like Leia lights up, basically.
Yeah, and then like they're laughing and talking about Danny because they both love Danny, and this is when Danny decides to come in and save her, but he sees that they're like getting along and laughing, and he gets all bummed out and like doesn't intervene, which is stupid.
Yeah, which is dumb. And I just wrote, is Danny sad? What's happening here? Because he just looks sad and leaves, but he didn't give off any sort of impression that he was into Leia, so I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. But then Riley's running in the woods again.
Well, no, first he's leaving. First he's leaving Anya because he's gonna go on like this sexy running date. But he calls her Pop-Tart and she calls him Panini, and I hated it. But also, Pop-Tart is maybe very nearly a kind of cute nickname.
Yeah, it's kind of cute.
Panini is not. Panini does not flow, but Pop-Tart is kind of adorable.
Yeah,
I didn't hate that.
And then he goes to meet Soccer Stud in the woods for a run.
Hashtag Soccer Stud.
Soccer Stud. Almost as good as Soccer Holland. But then
Soccer Holland 89.
But he, like, Soccer Stud texts him and is like, want to meet for a run? And I was like, yes, Riley, go explore your true feelings in the woods with emo or scene kid. I don't know.
Oh, scene kid. Look at that haircut.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. And then he's like in the woods and he like sees scene kid Soccer Stud in the shadows, and then he like freaks out and like runs away, and his arms are like flailing, and it's like running away from my feelings. I can't handle it.
I mean, same though.
And then he like does he go back to school? I don't know.
Yeah, he goes back to the
and
school.
Like takes steroids.
He does a lot of push-ups shirtless, and we're
right.
like, hello.
But then the next day, we're in Queen Kwan's class. We haven't seen her in a while. And they're not reading Shakespeare.
I missed Queen Kwan. Yeah, thank God they're learning something else at this fucking school.
Yeah. I don't know what book they're reading, but
they're
I know
not
it's
reading
not Shakespeare.
They're not reading Shakespeare, and they're not reading Lord of the Flies.
Exactly.
And that is all that matters.
And then she like has Riley go up to like compare and contrast two characters or something. And he's doing a good job at first, but like throughout this whole scene, he sees like Peter and Danny like whispering and like Mia and laughing, and he gets all paranoid because he thinks they're talking about him. And while he's up at the board, he like all of a sudden like whirls around and like throws a piece of chalk at them, and Queen Kwan is like, what the fuck are you doing? Go to the office, you violent weirdo.
Yeah, because well, first he like sees them laughing, and like he thinks that they're laughing and pointing at him like in the hall from the window. Why are these windows so big?
I don't know.
I feel like my school was just all cinder blocks. We had
Right?
teeny tiny windows in the door, and that was it.
You didn't have windows at all in your... I mean, I guess your school is inside.
Yeah.
All inside.
All inside. I mean, we had windows like to the outside, but some classrooms didn't even have that. If they were like in the
Weird.
middle of the school.
I mean, my school was all like outside. I mean, not the classrooms, obviously, but we had just like buildings scattered around, and like lockers were outside and stuff. But that's because I lived in California.
California schools are confusing to me. Everything I know about California schools I learned from like south of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. My school kind of looked like that, except that school was way bigger than mine. But yeah, lockers outside. You ate lunch outside, unless you were like the 5 people who ate in the cafeteria.
We had a courtyard that was very rarely used, and a breezeway, which is just like our one open air hallway.
We actually had some like trees and like a stream that ran through our campus with like a bridge that went over it. Some people ate over there. I don't know.
Your school sounds way prettier than my
It
school.
was not pretty. It looked like a prison.
School also looked like a prison.
They tried repainting it too my senior year, and it was like ugly. It was like they painted it like brown instead of it being gray, and we're like, "What are you doing?"
We had
This
a lot
looks
of
terrible.
We had a lot of construction done on our school, so by the end of it, it looked like a different school. But it's still like whoever designed it was weird as hell. It's just like a very strange looking high school.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what were we talking
I
about?
literally can't remember.
Oh yeah, they were laughing at him through the window.
Yes. They were laughing at him through the window, and then Peter was laughing again. And, like, yeah, so, like, Riley is all roid raged out and is, like, super paranoid. And you were right. He does throw an eraser like a goddamn lunatic.
But then Danny, who is Danny talking to? Sav? I don't know. He's talking about Leia.
Yeah,
Derek,
he's talking to Sav.
And he's like, I went to go save them, but they look like they're actually having a good time. And Sav says something disgusting, like, she's been derricked. And I'm like, no. I hate that name being used as a verb in any kind of a way, especially when we're talking about a girl. This makes me want to vomit.
I hate it. And yeah, and then like Danny admits that he realized in that moment that he likes Leia, which is like, I mean, I guess whatever. Like Leia's very cool. I understand. Well, no, but Leia's fine, and I understand that he likes her. But it's like I always hate that trope. Like, I didn't notice until I saw her with another guy. Like, how about you just fucking notice the first time, you dick? You've been spending so much time with her. Like, you should maybe know.
I don't know. I feel like he knew already. He just didn't do anything about it. Because like even in the first scene when he saw Leia talking to Danny, Leia and Danny like made like eye contact with each other.
That's true.
And then she like walked away. It was like and Derek was like, dude, hook me up. But like Danny and Derek aren't close, so he doesn't know that Danny kind of has a crush on her. But it's also the high school thing of like, you never say that you like somebody. It makes you look like an idiot.
I mean, I still do that as an adult. It's fine.
So it's like, he can't, because when Derek is like, dude, set me up, Danny can't be like, no, I actually like her, because nobody's going to admit that when they're in high school.
That is a very good point. That's very perceptive.
I think it was clear that Danny also liked her from the beginning. I think Danny was just caught in like a weird spot because he didn't want to say it out loud.
Totally. And then Sav is like, whatever, go after her anyway. But Danny's a good guy, and he's like, I can't. Derek likes her.
I think I can't. She likes Derek because I think he says something about like not wanting to be associated with that guy.
Well, no, it's both, because Sav is like, well, why do you like care? Like, you don't even like him. And he's like, yeah, but still. I think it's just that Danny is a good guy, and he's like, I set them up. I can't also break them up.
That's true. But then where are we? Peter's talking to Riley about roid rage, and he's like, I don't have that. Bye.
And Peter's like, I Googled it, dude.
I think it's just Peter being like, dude, why are you doing that? We weren't laughing at you. You need to stop taking these drugs. Like, I Googled it. It's roid rage. It's a thing. Blah. And Riley's like, fuck off. Bye.
Can we just reflect to 2001 Degrassi, where they would say, I looked it up on the web.
On the net.
On the net. It's so good.
I've been rewatching Daria, and they
Me
always
too.
say the web, and I'm like, this is
oh
ridiculous.
my God. I have also been rewatching Daria.
Nice. And I'm like, oh, the 90s.
90s were great.
But then this is when Leia is like talking to Danny and is like, why didn't you save me? Like, I only agreed to go on this date because I thought you were going to be there. And Danny's like, he ruins it. And he's like, you guys were having a good time. Like, I can't do this to Derek. Bye. Or something.
And then
like
she
that.
says, I'm crowning you the king of mixed messages.
It's ridiculous.
Which is a pretty good line, and also true facts.
Yeah, for sure. But then we're with Riley and Anya on like a picnic date in the woods or somewhere. And
yeah, they look very pretty together, and like all American white people. Like he has like the dog that he throws a frisbee to, and is it his dog? Unclear.
And like his mom made the picnic, and they're like joking about the food, and it seems like it's going very well until it's like time to kiss, and it's like the most awkward thing ever. And they're like, nope. And he's like, I have to go. Sorry, I have a group project. Bye. And it's really awkward.
Yeah, he's like, I have to be somewhere in 30 minutes exactly. See you never. It's very awkward. They're both awkward.
They're both awkward.
It's like the worst kiss I've ever seen.
So bad.
It's so upsetting.
But speaking of awkward, then he goes and finally meets Scene Kid Soccer Stud in the woods. And he's like, and they finally kind of start talking, and Riley's nervous, and they're talking very close. Lots of close talking.
So much close talking. And then this guy, Soccer Stud, is like, I was nervous my first time with a guy too. And he's like,
he's just like almost like he's
forcing
like
himself.
forcing himself. He's like, don't worry. You can do this. You can do this. I was nervous too. Let me do this.
And he like kisses his neck and stuff.
It's
And it's
so
like,
weird.
It's
so
very
uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. Because like, you're like,
I mean, pressuring him. And
he
I don't
is
like
pressuring.
it.
I didn't like the pressuring. It felt like pressuring. And like, yeah, Riley probably does need to be like reassured, but it felt so rushed. But you know what it was? It was very like horny teenage boy.
That's true.
That was like 100%.